Hi everyone, it's Lynn Terry, also known as Low Carb Traveler, host of the 90-Day Low Carb Challenge and author of TravelingLowCarb.com. And I wanted to pop in here and have a little chat real quick about sneaky hidden carbs because they're everywhere. But there's one place specifically that may really shock you. You may already know this, maybe not. But so I just wanted to share with you this little tip because I've made this mistake so many times myself, and it's at Starbucks. So hi Jana, and all right. So Starbucks, they actually sweeten all of their coffees. So let's say, for example, a lot of times I take my own creamer, I take my own sweetener, whatever, with me wherever I go whenever I'm traveling. So I was staying in a hotel recently, and there was a Starbucks right there in the hotel. So that was very convenient, you know. And several times a day, because you guys know I drink a lot of coffee, several times a day I would pop in and get a large black coffee. Nothing wrong with that, right? And then I would sweeten it myself. So a lot of times I'll use Coffee Mate sugar-free hazelnut powdered creamer, and it travels well. I can take it with me anywhere I go. I can keep it in the car if I want to, drive through McDonald's or drive through Starbucks and get a large black coffee and just put my own stuff in it. That way I'm in total control. I know what my carb count is. I know what's going into my coffee, right? So here's the thing. I've made this mistake so many times. So go to Starbucks, get a large black coffee and iced coffee. I love iced coffee, especially when it's, warm weather or what have you. So I might have a large black iced coffee. Now that sounds fine, right? It's just coffee. And the venti, by the way, which is Starbucks version of large, is 24 ounces of coffee. So here's the thing. A 24-ounce or large venti iced coffee with no creamer, no nothing, just if you just go through the drive-thru or walk in and say, I want a large black iced coffee, 30 carbs. It has 30 grams of sugar in it because they add what they call classic syrup, which is basically just sugar water, to every single drink. So if you order a large black coffee, it's lightly sweetened. They don't tell you that. It doesn't say that on the menu. But when you get a large iced coffee, it's actually a 24-ounce cup because they allot room for the ice. They put like 5 or 6 pumps of sugar water in that. So the black coffee would be 30 carbs, which is all sugar, 30 grams of sugar. So when I have been thinking, hey, I'm just grabbing a black coffee and I'm doing the right thing. I'm adding my own creamer. I'm adding my own sweetener or whatever I want to add into it. So I'm in total control of the carb count, not realizing I'm getting 30 grams of sugar that I didn't even know about. So here's what you have to do. There is a solution to this. A lot of times the baristas will know at Starbucks specifically if I order, let's say, for example, a large iced coffee, I'll say venti, large iced coffee with sugar-free vanilla. And if you order a sugar-free flavor, a lot of times they'll automatically know not to add that classic syrup. But to be on the safe side, the classic syrup, by the way, is sugar water, and it's a lot of it. Anyway, to be on the safe side, you should say no classic syrup. And the label on your cup and your receipt should say no classic. And if it doesn't, you're getting the sugar. So I was telling a friend of mine this actually the other day, and I was like, did you realize that your coffee has 20 to 30 grams of sugar in it? And like for diabetics, this could be like a really big deal, right? You're thinking, I'm just getting a black coffee. And so my friend says, well, it doesn't taste sweet. I'm like, well, that's because Starbucks coffee is so bitter. Like even 30 grams of sugar, you're probably not going to be able to tell it because their coffee is like a little bit stout. It's not my preference. A lot of times I'll stop at McDonald's and get a black coffee, which, by the way, is not full of sugar water. But I thought that you guys would be interested to know the hidden carbs in just something as simple as a large black coffee or a large black iced coffee from Starbucks. We're talking 20 to 30 grams of sugar, 20 to 30 carbs. I cannot, like I said, I was staying at a hotel in Orlando, and it was last year, I guess, and there was a Starbucks in the hotel. And so I was like pulling very long days, and I went in there probably a good 3 or 4 times a day. So you think about 4 large black coffees times minimum 20, 40, 60, 80 grams of sugar, 80 carbs. I didn't even know I was having on top of the food that I ate that day, right? And I kept, if you might remember this, for those of you who've been following my food diaries for a while at travelinglowcarb.com, I was like, somehow I've knocked myself out of ketosis. I couldn't figure out how I got out of ketosis, and I was like, for some reason I'm floating in and out of ketosis. And so in hindsight, it was back when I was visiting Starbucks frequently, and I would have iced coffees, or this or that or what have you. So now I'm much more prone to have my iced coffees and black coffees from McDonald's. They have great coffee, by the way. But the other thing that just know, if you're ordering from Starbucks, even if you're ordering a sugar-free drink, like if you're saying I want a large iced coffee with sugar-free vanilla, no classic syrup. Say that, no classic syrup. It needs to be completely sugar-free. And your tag on the cup should say no classic. This is extremely important if you want to stay in ketosis, or if you're really trying to follow a sugar-free diet, or if you're diabetic. So a lot of people don't realize that or don't know that. The other thing is, ask for heavy cream. I ask for heavy whipping cream, because if they put milk in it, skim milk in it, that's adding up the sugar. Milk has a lot of sugar in it. So I ask them to put heavy whipping cream in it. Now, so whether you use this at home or whether you get it, added when you're at Starbucks or whatever the case, what you should know is, no matter what your label says, heavy whipping cream is 7 carbs per cup. Most labels say 0 carbs, but that's because they're counting 1 tablespoon servings. So it is actually 0.4 carbs per tablespoon, or 7 carbs per cup. I'm talking about HWC, or heavy whipping cream. So those of you who like your BPC, your bulletproof coffee, or your coffee very creamy, keep that in mind. So 2 tablespoons counts as 1 carb. And if you use, like, let's say, for example, I order a venti iced coffee with sugar-free vanilla and heavy cream at Starbucks, and I say no classic syrup, so I'm not getting those extra 30 grams of sugar. I'm still getting at least a third or a half a cup of heavy cream. So, and they put way too much. Like, it dilutes your coffee, looks like milk. So I would say, like, maybe put, half the amount or what have you. But you're looking at like a third or a half a cup, like you're looking at 3 to 4 carbs for that you may not be counting for. So that's just something to consider. Janice said, no wonder I saw. Who thought the black coffee would have so many carbs from Starbucks? So the solution from now on is just to say no classic syrup. So again, Starbucks puts this classic syrup in all of their drinks, which is like a base sweetener, and it's just sugar water. So on the large, or the venti iced coffee, that's 30 grams of carbs, 30 grams of sugar. Shocking, right? And then also, of course, knowing that heavy whipping cream is 7 carbs per cup, which is fine if you're just using a tablespoon or 2, then you need to count that as 0.4 carbs per tablespoon, which is the same with eggs, by the way. A lot of people think eggs are 0 carb, but eggs are 0.4 carbs each. So if I eat 4 eggs, that's 1.6 carbs. So these things can kind of really add up on you. But with the heavy whipping cream, you wouldn't think, okay, so I'm using a couple of tablespoons per mug of coffee, or I'm using half a cup, per big tumbler of coffee, or whatever the case is. Some people like their coffee creamier than others. Just make sure that you're counting that half a cup of heavy whipping cream is 3.5 carbs. And again, that's no matter what your label actually says, because all the labels, almost all of them, say 0 carbs. But that doesn't make a difference. They're able to do that because it's by a per serving basis. So if it's less than 1 carb per serving, like 1 tablespoon as a serving, then they can say it's 0 carbs. So, but if you're using heavy whipping cream in a recipe and it calls for 2 cups, let's say you're making like a low carb chocolate pie, for example, and it calls for 2 cups or 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. 2 cups of heavy cream is 14 carbs. not net carbs, it's 14 full carbs. And so, of course, you would allot that across the entire recipe or the entire, let's say, low-carb pie that you're baking or what have you, or the low-carb pudding or whatever it is you're making with heavy whipping cream. And the only way to accurately track that and track your carbs and macros is to use the MyFitnessPal recipe calculator, which is free to use. And if you're tracking in MyFitnessPal using that recipe calculator, you can log it straight into your food diary for the day by using that calculator. So you just put in the recipe and then just say log it, and then it's right there for you to log anytime you want to. Anyway, I just wanted to pop in here and talk a little bit about the hidden carbs and making sure that you're counting those carbs and making sure that you're aware, for example, of this thing called classic syrup at Starbucks that goes into all of your coffees. You can go to starbucks.com and they actually have like a nutrition calculator or what have you, so you can, put on there like a freshly, brewed venti iced coffee or whatever, and it's going to say lightly sweetened. So if you use the drop-down box and you put no sugar, it automatically goes, a venti size goes from 30 carbs or 30 grams of sugar to 0 carbs or 0 grams of sugar. And so again, when you're at Starbucks and you're ordering anything, any drink, and this includes iced tea. So let's say that you think, I'm just going to have a plain iced tea, an unsweetened iced tea, meaning I'm not going to add sugar to it. That is also, depending on the size of the cup of tea, they are also putting this classic syrup in that as well. And so when you order an iced tea, an iced coffee, a black coffee, whatever the case, always just make sure to clarify, no classic syrup, please. I need my coffee or I need my tea sugar-free. And that's easy enough. The baristas know, so they're familiar with it. So a lot of times if you order, let's say, for example, if I order a large iced coffee with sugar-free vanilla, they'll automatically not put the classic syrup in there, but not all will do that. So you need to make sure and clarify. What about almond milk from Starbucks? Great question. I don't know, but they do have a nutrition calculator on their website. So I think it would be very important for you to go and use that. I talked about that in the low-carb class at travelinglowcarb.com when I was talking about macros and meal tracking and MyFitnessPal. So there's a whole class on that specifically. And I talked about, places that you frequent, or if you know you're going to go somewhere and get a specific thing, go ahead and look it up online, because you would be shocked at some of the carb counts on things that you would not guess, like, for example, a black iced coffee. And so the other thing, for example, is McDonald's ranch dressing is 10 carbs. The packet of McDonald's ranch dressing is 10 carbs. Most other restaurants, the ranch dressing is 1 to 2 carbs, maybe 3 at the max. At McDonald's, it's 10 carbs. So if you're getting a salad from McDonald's for lunch and you think you're doing good, but you get ranch dressing, you've pretty much used up half your carbs, more than half your carbs for the day with the salad plus the ranch dressing. So if you look these things up online, McDonald's has a nutrition calculator, so you can tell their sausage patties are 1 carb each, for example, not 0 carbs. And but their ranch dressing is off the charts as far as the carb count goes. So that's something else. But you don't know these things unless you look them up. So while I could tell you all the numbers I know, like I'm telling you now with the ranch dressing at McDonald's, the heavy whipping cream, the carb count on eggs, the 30 grams of sugar in your black coffee at Starbucks, where you go and what you order is going to be unique to you. And so I'm just going to recommend that you Google it, and almost every chain or fast food restaurant or even restaurant now publishes their nutrition facts online. So it pays to look those up and know exactly what you're getting and what your carb counts are so that you don't blow it for the day. But I wanted to share this with you because I became aware of it recently, and I'm pretty sure that I had heard of it before, but it just didn't stick. And so last year, like I said, when I was traveling a lot at certain hotels that had Starbucks in the hotels, I was just getting black coffees all day long. I drink a lot of coffee. And I was like, why am I out of ketosis? Because I'm so strict when I travel. If I were ever going to eat off plan, it would definitely not be when I'm on vacation or not be when I'm traveling. That's when I want to look good, feel lean, and feel great and have a lot of energy. If I were ever going to eat off plan, it would be like at home in bed in my pajamas where I can be bloated and miserable. But when I'm traveling is when I want to feel great. And I kept having this issue where I was knocking myself out of ketosis. And I'm like, I am eating so clean. I'm having like salmon and broccoli and spinach and, eggs for breakfast that are fried and not scrambled or omelets or whatever. Oh, there's another one for you. Omelets and scrambled eggs. So at restaurants, more often than not, when they make an omelet, they add pancake batter. At the best, they're adding probably milk or some other thing to fluff it up, which milk is full of sugar. But worst case scenario, and very frequently, breakfast buffets and restaurants that make omelets add pancake batter to the egg mix, which is not even real eggs. It's like the bagged eggs, the liquid eggs. And they're adding pancake batter to that to make and keep them fluffy. So an omelet at IHOP, for example, is way higher carb than you think it is. And so if you're eating out at a restaurant, breakfast time, you always want to get fried eggs. Unless you're making them yourself, you always want to get fried eggs. Don't ever trust omelets and scrambled eggs from restaurants, or definitely not from buffets or breakfast bars. So just a couple of tips for you in regards to things I've learned myself, because going in and out of ketosis unintentionally is frustrating. When you're trying to lose weight and you're kind of on a really good streak or whatever, and all of a sudden you're going through keto flu like over and over and over again, and you're like, what in the world is going on here? So that's, a roller coaster you don't want to go on. So if you frequent Starbucks and you're struggling with your weight loss, hopefully that will give you a little something to help you out there. Just say no classic syrup, because once again, Starbucks adds this, what they call classic syrup, to all of their drinks. And even if you order a black coffee or a black iced coffee, it's got 30 grams of sugar. The venti size iced coffee does. It has 30 carbs. That's ridiculous. And I look back on that and I'm like, no wonder, I felt bloated and my ankles were puffy when I got home from that trip. I was like, and then I went through the keto flu again, and I was like, I didn't eat anything that would throw me out of ketosis. I was totally floored. It was the coffee. The coffee was the culprit. All right, so I just wanted to pop in and share that with you guys real quick, and I'll stay on for a couple of minutes in case you have any questions about carb counts or other things like that. I just thought that it was important to share that with you before you get up tomorrow and go to Starbucks. So what would you say have you found some sneaky carb culprits? You know what? I find it very interesting that a lot of people don't look or track, I guess, or what have you, because we were having a discussion about this on Instagram last week when I mentioned, you've seen that I'll go and get takeout a lot. So I'll get either, grilled chicken or the Cajun chicken or the ribeye or whatever, and I'll get the sauteed vegetables that come with it or the roasted vegetables, and they always come with carrots. And I always make the comment when I take the photo of this meal and share it with you guys that I let my Great Dane have the carrots. He loves carrots and broccoli and spinach. Anyways, I always give him the carrots. And two people on Instagram said, carrots have carbs? Yes, all vegetables have carbs. So I actually have a link on travelinglowcarb.com. If you'll comment in the text chat, in the comments there, if you'll leave a comment and remind me, I'll give you the link to it. But I have a link to low carb vegetables, and it's in alphabetical order with the carb counts for each one. So if you want, a list that you can just run down super quick, in regards to determining what the carb counts are, and it's based off the counts that are on the Atkins website. And I also have a great resource that I use to look up carb counts for fresh produce and anything without labels. Like if you go blackberry picking and you pick blackberries yourself and you want to know what's the carb count on the, this number of ounces or whatever of blackberries. Bonnie said, how can I find you again? I'm right here. But my website is at travelinglowcarb.com, and I run this group, 90-Day Low Carb Challenge. That's me. I'm the admin. So my name is Lynn Terry, and my page is facebook.com/lowcarbtraveler. Like I said, I run this group for 90daylowcarbchallenge.com that you're in now, and of course also am the author of travelinglowcarb.com. Anne said, but their regular brew has no carbs. So, Anne, you're talking about the coffee. So if you buy the coffee and you brew it yourself, no, right, it has no carbs. But if you order a coffee, they add what's called classic syrup to it. You have to specifically say no classic. Bonnie said, I haven't started yet, but I'm trying to gather information. Thank you for this. Link, please. Okay, and I have a getting started checklist on my site. But if you just go to 90daylowcarbchallenge.com, you'll find all the information for getting started right there on 90daylowcarbchallenge.com. And you'll also, if you go to travelinglowcarb.com, you can find the getting started checklist there at the top of the page. There's a link to it. And I also have low carb classes. If you want the fast track, there are 5 low carb classes, and you'll find those at the top of the site as well. So hopefully that'll be helpful. Dan said carrots are not so good for your dog's pancreas. That's good to know. Interesting. So my trainer said it was good. It was fine. I only feed him vegetables, mostly spinach and broccoli. He likes greens, but the very rare occasion that I get carrots, he'll have a few of those. So I'll have to look that up. So thank you for letting me know that, Dan. Because I'm all about my dog's health. That's why I don't feed him junk. So let's see here. Ann said I used to work at Starbucks in college. I always asked for iced coffee with no classic. Yes, but it's a classic mistake most people make. And like I said, a large or a venti iced coffee has 30 grams of sugar, even when you just say a venti black iced coffee. So that's just shocking. And like I said, I had no idea how and why I was throwing myself out of ketosis constantly, but I drink a lot of coffee. And so when I was at those particular conferences and I'm going all day long and not getting a whole lot of sleep, I would drink 3, 4, 5 a day. So it's like that was a lot of sugar to consume. A whole lot. All right, good stuff. Thank you again for that, Dan. I always love to see the men in the group, because we have a lot of men in our group. Did you guys know that here in the 90-Day Low Carb Challenge? Because I see a lot of you addressing each other as, hey, ladies, or to all the other women or whatever. But we actually have a lot of men in the group. But they stay quiet because we pretend like they're not there. So I always love when you guys speak up. So it's really great to see you pop in, Dan. I'm really glad you did that. And I love when they post their photos and stuff like that. So Janice making a face. Yeah, we have a lot of great men in the group. Amazing success stories. Ray, he lost all of his weight. He's now in maintenance mode. Yeah, so we have a ton of awesome men in the group, which is cool. But I noticed that a lot, that you guys maybe don't realize, or you ladies don't realize how many great men that we have in the group that are participating in the challenge as well. So any other questions or comments? Bonnie said, are you on here at regular times or random? For now, just random. This is actually the first week that I have done live Q&A chats inside the group. So this is my 3rd one this week. However, I do record them and put them over on my Facebook page, which is at facebook.com/lowcarbtraveler. So if you can pop over to my page and see the last 2 because they're posted there. And, but I could try to do a schedule. I'm not a very scheduled person, which you've probably noticed if you follow travelinglowcarb.com. I put my posts out at all kinds of random, days of the week, times of the day, et cetera, et cetera. So I have a very free flow schedule and just kind of wing it or go with it. But anyway, so thanks for joining in live. Great comments and addition to the discussion there and questions and things like that. I just wanted to, really just go over that quick thing real quick about heavy whipping cream, about Starbucks coffee, iced coffee, black coffee, the carb count of eggs, and the McDonald's ranch dressing, and all these little hidden things that can really kind of screw up your day and knock you out of ketosis, which is not fun at all because I am not a fan of keto flu. All right, so have a great rest of the day or night, and until next time, I will see you back in the group with my fingers, with the text chats there in the group. And in the meantime, I'll put out a post on travelinglowcarb.com as well regarding the specifics for Starbucks, ordering Starbucks, and how to order it without the sugar and things like that, so that you can save that and or look over that and ask any questions and, of course, share it. And any other questions or comments you have, you can go ahead and continue leaving comments here on this video, and I'll pop in and answer those for you. Have a great rest of the day or night.